Well, Trump's at it again with his unconstitutional behavior. Yeah. Oh, here the fuck we go again. So what am I talking about? Well, let's take a look through the news and find out, shall we? Well, it turns out that Donald Trump is after people who are burning flags. And, well, he says that, yeah, that's going to be punishable up to a year in prison. I fucking hate when that happens. Piece of hair in my mouth. I'm keeping that in. But yep, Trump's getting extreme with it. He don't give a fuck. Despite a Texas case back in 1989, I do believe. And the article we're about to read will give us more context. It is from the AssociatedPress.com. But this is kind of a touchy subject for me, right? This is kind of a touchy subject because I love my flag, my country's flag. As you can see, I fly it proudly behind me. I love the American flag a lot, right? In a way, it's kind of special to me. Because, to me, it signifies what my grandfather fought for. My grandfather, for those who don't know, did fight in the Vietnam War back in the day. And how I see it is if I'm disrespecting that flag, then I'm disrespecting him and all the men and women who served overseas. Mosh couldn't fucking talk. I'm leaving that in, but no, I mean, I just feel like it's disrespectful to all the men and women who served in the war, you know, to protect our country and protect whatever the fuck we have left of our freedoms. Because fucking, hey, the orange idiot fucking tearing apart the Constitution amendment by a goddamn amendment, you know? But no, it's a little touchy subject for me, you know? I disagree with flag burning being a constitutionally protected thing because, you know, again, at the end of the day, you are kind of spitting on the people who served and protected the freedom of this country. Again, whatever freedoms we have fucking left. But I that's just how I feel about it. You know, it's a kind of a personal thing for me because, again, my grandfather did serve in the Vietnam War, and it's like I feel like I disrespect the flag. I disrespect him and all he's did for this country. But that's just how I see it. All right? That's my stupid, shitty opinion, but who cares? Shout out to my grandfather. Thank you for your service. Love you, Pa. He's a good guy. Give us a hashtag love you, Pa, in the comments. You know? Show Pa some love. But anyways, we got an article here from the AssociatedPress.com. That'll give us a little bit more context and info on what the fuck's going on. President Donald Trump on Monday signed an executive order requiring the Justice Department to investigate and prosecute people for burning the American flag, an activity that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled is legitimate political expression protected by the U.S. Constitution, which, again, I disagree, you know, but again, I get it. But at the end of the day, what people don't realize is the First Amendment does also come with consequences. You know? The order of the Republican president signed in the Oval Office as Mosh has an itch on his neck acknowledged the court's 5-4 ruling in a case from Texas in 1989, but said there is still room to prosecute flag burning if it's likely to indict imminent lawless action or amount to fighting words. Excuse me. You burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, which I disagree with, okay? I feel like it should be a little hefty fine, depending on the severity of the situation and depending on what happened and depending on who was put at risk. Like, sure, someone could get charged for burning the flag, but again, it all really depends on how far they go, right? Like, if a person's literally out in fucking public, causing a nuisance, setting flags on fire, you know, committing arson and doing shit like that, that's not protest, right? See, I always see it, there's a line between protest and not protest, right? When it comes to flag burning. If you're just standing there in like your own backyard or a private place, away from people, in a safe place, okay, fine. Express your First Amendment right. Burn whatever you want. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. Right? But if you're like out in Times Square, you're out in a public fucking place with people around, that's honestly putting people in danger, right? You're putting your surroundings in danger. You could cause a fucking fire by doing that, right? How I see it is if you're going to protest like that, I always say protest on your own time, right? Or protest in your own area or your own platform or your own whatever, away from people if you're going to do stupid shit like that. Okay? Don't do it out in public. That's dumb. Okay? You're literally committing arson. Right? Again, and it honestly all goes how far it you know, what the person so-called protesting is doing. Like, if they're just standing there at their own house, their own yard, in their own area away from people, sure, I consider that protesting, right? But if you're out in public burning flags in Times Square where there's a bunch of people, or you're out in fucking the middle of a giant protest or something and you're out burning, no. You're putting people's lives at danger at that point. And I'm sorry, at that point, that's no longer protest. That's endangering lives. That's committing arson at that point. Right? Because how I see it is if you're going to burn a flag and protest like that, do it away from people. Do it where no one can get hurt. Right? That's one of my main things. You heard another one of my main things about it, but that's one big thing, right? Is if you're going to do shit like that, then do it in a safe place where you're not going to hurt anyone, right? Or where nothing is going to happen that will lead to people getting hurt. Because, again, all these videos I've seen of people burning flags are literally in the middle of protests, are literally in the middle of riots or whatever the fuck is going on. And at that point, again, I'm sorry, that's not protesting. That's not. That's, at that point, endangering people. Because you want to be a stupid fucking idiot. Right? So, while I disagree with Trump saying you'll get 1 year in jail for protesting and doing that, I feel like you should be fined. Burning the flag in any way, you should be fined. If you are caught doing it and you provide evidence, you should be fined. Again, depending on the situation. $100 minimum. Maximum, again, depending on the situation. Right? But the article goes on to read, you don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month, you get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record, and you will see flag burning stopping immediately. No. Not really, no, unfortunately. No. You know? The order also called for Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue litigation to challenge the 1989 ruling, an attempt by Trump to get the issue back in front of the Supreme Court. Today's Supreme Court is much more conservative than the makeup of the court in 1989 and includes 3 judges Trump appointed in his first term. Civil liberties advocates and constitutional scholars question both the both the legality and the merit of Trump's action. The lawyer working for free speech groups said Trump does not have the power to rewrite the First Amendment, which, no, he does not. But again, that's what Trump does when he does not get his way. He will violate the First Amendment, and he will start breaking and violating laws. You've seen a lot of that during his first term. Remember the Mexico wall? Remember how he promised that veterans were going to pay for that, but then all of the sudden, yeah, no, that's coming out of the U.S. military, right? And his supporters were literally like, yeah, who gives a fuck? We're building the wall. We're securing the border. Fuck the military, right? You know, the military that protects us and protects our rights and freedoms. Nah, fuck them. Fuck them. You know? Well, we got to build our wall. You know. We couldn't get Mexico to pay for it, so fuck it. We'll get the U.S. military to pay for it. Article goes on to read, while people can be prosecuted for burning anything in a place, they aren't allowed to set fires. The government can't prosecute protected expressive activity, even if many Americans, including the president, find it unquietly offensive and proactive. Unquietly. At you. Added Bomb Corn. Calling him Bob Corn. chief counsel of the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression. In the 1989 case, the justice ruled 5-4 that the First Amendment protects flag burning as legitimate political expression. The late Judge A.S., I'm not even going to bother with that name, the conservative icon whom Trump repeatedly praised, was in the majority. On Monday, Trump described the 1989 court behind the ruling as a very sad court. Well, of course, because they won't suck in Trump's dick. Trump said burning the U.S. flag indicates riots at levels we have never seen before, which is an absolute bullshit. With some people going crazy over the act of setting it afire and others expressing anger at people for burning it, he did not offer examples. Of course he didn't offer fucking examples because he didn't have any. A White House fact sheet referenced recent photos, including in Los Angeles in June, where the flag was burned alongside violent acts and other threatening public safety. All over the country, they are burning... Hold on, no. Let me see if I can do... Let me see if I can do this in Trump voice. Hold on. Hold on. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag, Trump said. As Vice President J.D. Vance bondied Defense Secretary Pete, I don't fucking know his name, and other administration officials stood behind him as he sat at his desk with swollen fucking ankles. Can the fucker just drop dead already? You know? How long is this article? Oh, we're literally almost done with it. Fuck it, we'll finish it. G.S. Hahn, a law professor at Cornell University who focuses on the First Amendment, said that the country has not suffered from an endemic of flag burning. No, I don't think so. I haven't really seen any, problem with that. But, anything to appease the magatards. Anything to please the base. The executive order states that decreasing the American flag is unquietly offensive and proactive and is a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation. The clearest possible expression of oppression to the political union that preserves our rights, liberty, and security. Burning the representation of America may indict violence and a riot, which, no, it won't necessarily do that, but it will probably upset some people. The order calls on the Attorney General to prioritize enforcement to the fullest extent possible of the criminal and civil lawsuits against flag burning that cause harm to unrelated to the First Amendment's free speech guarantee. Thank you for protecting the American flag, and we will do that without running afoul of the First Amendment as well, Bondi told the president. Foreign nationals could face having their visas, residency permits. Oh my fucking God. All of this revoked for, according to the order, they could be deported. Hold the fuck on! Nah, there's just another way for Trump to deport people. I don't know. But the rest of the article reads, nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail, Trump wrote on what then was Twitter. It's now called X, damn it. The Constitution forbids the government from stripping citizenship from natural-born American citizens. What do you know? Something Trump doesn't fucking like. But yeah. Oh, Donald. Anyways, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm starting to start up the podcast. I'm just... This is... I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I'm starting up the podcast here soon. I'm cooking up the first episode, gathering some stuff to talk about for from the past couple weeks. Jesus fuck, I can't talk. But I've just been gathering up some stuff from the past couple weeks. Some juicy popular topics to talk about. I got some good stuff. But I'm retiring this and that, and I'm starting up a new podcast called The Moshcast. Oh, yeah. Go subscribe. Moshcast. Moshcast YT. I can't talk. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!